Hi, Mr. Bodell here, Bodell's Comfort Footwear. We're going to talk about today is how do you know when your shoes are worn out and how you are walking and how your gait can be directly affecting your instability, your lower back issues, your hip issues, your knees issues. No amount of different types of orthotics are going to do it. It is the right shoe. Okay, the shoe is going to be the one that you need to start with. The reason why is it gives you a firm foundation. If the shoe's doing its job, it's going to distribute your weight evenly. It's going to take pressure off your knees, your hips, and your lower back. The support system in a shoe is what really affects how you operate day to day. Now, if you look at worn shoes, you just lay them on the ground, okay? Like, for example, this gentleman here who wore these shoes. Just by the look of the shoe, you could see on his right side, he pronates, he turns in. And if you look at his left shoe, that brings supination on the left side. So many factors in this gentleman's case, you're going to show you one, could be one leg shorter than the other, because as this foot comes down and pronates, it shifts the weight on the left side outward, which you're supinating. What you're doing there is that you're distributing the weight uneven. And that is going to affect your back, going to affect your hips, it's going to affect your knees, and affect your ankles. If you get the right shoe that gives a proportionate support that you need, that is going to get you straighter in your gait and in your walk and distribute the weight evenly. This gentleman here, if you look at the shoe, he is actually supinating extremely. You can just tell by the indication on his shoes. If you look at the heel there, you can see the supination. Alright? When the shoe loses its ability to hold you up properly, it's going to create that instability, and your weight distribution is going to be completely off. Alright, thus creating problems with your ankles, your knees, and your hips, and your lower back. Okay? Let's look at a shoe like this, for example. Yes, it's a New Balance. I sell New Balance. We sell New Balance. But this shoe has too much instability. It has too much turn. Okay, the toe itself goes up too much. Alright? What that does is that the weight distribution is going to be off. If you notice the shoe here, you can just look at it. Okay, you see this shoe here? See how much broader it is right now? The reason why is the shoe doing this. See how this is going in? And what this does, it shifts this shoe out. Okay? Again, could be a person one leg shorter than the other. It could be that the instability and the soft counter support, see that? There's nothing there. Okay? It's going to draw the worst of you. Meaning that if you have a tendency with your right foot to turn in, for example, it's definitely going to throw the left foot out. It's trying to keep you vertical. Your body is a machine. Alright? It's trying to keep you vertical. And the way for it to do that is that it's just going by how you distribute your weight, your gait. It's all going to be determined on how the shoe is going to support you. If you have a propensity, for example, to turn in your left foot, if you have a lower arch on that side, you turn in like this. Your foot on the left side, for example, is going to turn out because it's trying to keep you straight. Alright? But it's creating an uneven distribution of weight. So thus putting more pressure on your knees, your ankles, your hips, and your lower back. If you get the right shoe that has a nice volume of arch support, firm counter where this is soft, that has to be firm. You don't want that shoe to turn. Okay? Once that shoe starts turning, it's going to go however you distribute your weight. You've got to make sure that your shoe doesn't turn. It has a firm counter support, has good lift in the arch, and it has a support system in the shoe with, like, for example, a lasting board that's going to keep you firmly walking with the weight being distributed evenly. You do not need to add things to your shoes. I have a lot of podiatrists I hear from customers are saying get a cheap shoe and then use an orthotic. The orthotic's not going to do a thing in a cheap shoe. If the shoe turns too much, it has a soft counter support, the orthotic means nothing. You spend $300, $350, $400 on an orthotic and buy an $80 shoe, it's not going to work. But if you get the right shoe, you don't need to spend $300, $400 on orthotics. The shoe will do its job. So you don't need to spend that kind of money on an orthotic and buy an inexpensive shoe, because the orthotic is not going to help with the distribution of weight, because the shoe needs to work in conjunction with the orthotic. But if you get the right orthotic that comes with the shoe, if the shoe has its own support system in it that's going to help you with your gait and hence your weight distribution, putting less pressure on your ankles, your knees, your hips, and lower back, then you're not going to have those issues. And once you look at your shoes periodically, when you buy a shoe from us, usually the shoes that you buy from us are going to last 2 or 3 years, okay, at least. Far greater than what you'll get from a less expensive shoe. You just lay out your shoes down periodically after maybe 6 months to a year and start seeing whether the shoe is starting to break down. You can see how the shoe's naturally sitting on the floor. And when you start seeing a shoe turning in or turning out, you know the shoe is breaking down. So now you're beating the shoe. And once that starts happening, it's just going to get worse and it's going to create issues for you. So I'm hoping that some of these highlights that I'm pointing out to you would convince you that you might consider in the future to save your money up, instead of buying 6 pairs of shoes throughout the year, maybe get 1 or 2, which will extend out for a period of years, and get the proper fit, the proper support, hence the proper weight distribution. And you'll be better off health-wise, you'll be able to walk further, and those kinds of things. So hopefully I've given you some information that's that would give you the opportunity to consider on your next footwear purchase, that would convince you that getting the proper shoe will actually help you in the long run as far as your health and well-being is concerned. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Mr. Bodell, Bodell's Comfort Footwear.